Hey, it's Everett's Live Music, and giving a shout out today for the Memorial Day weekend. And we'll just start right out with a moment of silence. For those that have lost their lives in battle and gave their lives for their country, whether we were fighting one another or another country or natives. I believe it goes back to the Civil War, and somehow out of that came Memorial Day. I might be wrong on that, but it'd be worth for you to check it out. I mean, we have our little phones and stuff, and you just hit it, and it'll tell you right away. And I don't always look that stuff up. The more important message to me is to remember those that have died fighting for their country in a war. I mean, against ourselves. Isn't it crazy? In the beginning, it was against taxation without representation. Back to the Revolutionary War, And I don't think it has to do with that one, but it's just wild what we've fought about throughout the years. And all I can say is, for anybody that's given their life for their country, we have failed as a people, as a species. We're failing terribly. And I don't believe any of this will disrespect the dead, but more so will honor the dead in the idea that we are. Throughout all the wars and so many people that have died, and we're still fighting all the time now. And if we're not fighting a war, then we're fighting one another on one level or another. I think the money drives a lot of it. Has been the foundation for so many wars. No matter how you try to lie and make it sound different, or your interests are solely in something else. But like in the one message before, I'm like, it's for a rock. We kill each other. Whether it's uranium deposits in certain geographic regions that you find in the rock, or it's coal deposits, or shale, and you're gonna frack for the gas below it, or the gold or the diamonds, or it's endless what we're willing to kill one another over, and the endless competition. So for me, for today, I'm going to say back, we need to wage war on the problems we have: poverty, inequality. I hear people talk about free will. There's no free will with money. Not for so many. For so many of us, even to have the freedom of speech and stuff, you're still careful what you say, right? A lot of people, why wouldn't you? You got to watch what you say, what you do, and within reason. It's not like your full freedom of speech is gone, but it's strange how our whole life is money. And money keeps us all separated because, you don't want to give too many secrets away and let the other guy get in front of you and get ahead of you in the game. Like our whole life has been turned into this game. Where is the war we wage against that? A way of life that's failing us as we continue to populate the planet and decimate, habitat and all the other life in order for us to keep expanding, and the extraction of certain resources, and sometimes without using discretion and without using the best possible methods, and it's more of a competition. So either you get it done or I'll find someone that will. Where are we with the idea of waging war against global climate change and stuff? I would think a lot of these things are going to be what I'm thinking about for Memorial Day, because these people that died were fighting one another, fighting people fighting people, being asked to kill one another or be killed. Whether you're a cook on a ship or wherever you might be in your base, and you got killed too, man. You're a soldier and you were in it. No matter what your job is, to me, like in the military, you matter. And when I think about the military and stuff at times, I think about our future and like hopes maybe we could live a little bit like it, because they're all getting about the same pay, which isn't much, but you're all in it together. And nobody really gets more than one another. So there is a little bit you could take from that. I don't want to live like where my bed's got to be made perfect and I'm going to salute you in the morning. I don't really want that. But there are so many things you could take and look at that kind of life and say, man, they make it. And they're not, at one time or another, you eventually get in line with what's going on. And we're all going to have just about the same. Some people make a little more than others, I'm imagining. But, there's a lot of like education, too, that's involved in the military and stuff. And some of them maybe make a little more. But it's just not like our capitalist society, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. So I look to that, and I look to our military and stuff, and I look to how much money they spend every year for more guns, more bombs, more new technology to fight wars. Like, incredible amount of money, man. We're not the only country spending it. What if we spent that on trying to stop, take a break, slow down? None of us are going anywhere, and we're killing ourselves with this way of life. The planet can't sustain the population that it's going at, the rate that it's going. It might even be too many already. Back in the 70s, they said it was, we're just about there, and it's too much already. But nobody listens. We just keep going, and we keep getting in this. We're like, it's like we've been fooled. Or perhaps nobody would be happy with less. Maybe more is all that there is, but the numbers are working so against us with that mindset. The idea of free will is some imaginary thing because you've been raised your whole life to make money. Every day, all day long, that's all we pretty much think about for a lot of people, especially if you're poorer, and then like as you get older, comes with it mental health and stuff. There's so much mental health wrapped up in there. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So I'm like, do you know how much depression and anxiety and, aggression and so many different behaviors come to the surface for this money and the competition to get it, and how many people's morals are constantly compromised. And after you compromise them, then later on you're going to have to deal with the idea of what you did to someone else in order to get more money. But you do it because you're judged by it in society. That's how you're judged in society. For the most part, to one degree or another, you certainly are. Wars against these things is what I would want to wage. Not where we're going to lose lives with guns and stuff, but we need to start taking an idea and changing the way we think. The poverty on the planet, the famine and stuff, and we're just making more people. We can't even agree on some of these issues, and the numbers are there, and it's like really bewildering to me that people are like, well, global climate change, it doesn't exist. It does exist. Even if let's say let's go like this, okay? So even if we aren't making the problem, which I think is total BS, dude, we are part of the problem, big time. We have tipped the balance of stuff, just reshaped the face of the planet in certain areas. So what was once balanced is now unbalanced. You know what I'm saying? So we are definitely causing part of the problem. But if you want to say we're not, go ahead and just say the planet changes and stuff. Okay. But with the numbers the way they are going and stuff, if things get to where the scientists, like, the big number, 97% are agreeing. Yes, because the numbers are going that way, and it might even be worse than we've ever thought. With all the people on the planet, what do you think we're going to be able to do to adjust when everything that you've believed in life is about ownership of this piece of land over here? I own that, and I have this much money, so I matter more. What's going to happen to so many people if they ever had to move because the area becomes inhabitable? The temperatures rise or they lower, or the floods just totally won't stop. These things are all being predicted, and a lot of it's already starting to happen. And we can't even get on the same page. We are failing our dead. Those that have died in those battles, in those wars, and killed one another, brothers against brothers, right down the line. For what? To just keep doing it? To just trying to be the better guy, the tougher guy? I'm so much don't you dare out, man. So I say we're like failing big time. So there is no free will. Is the world what we imagine it to be? I think it is. Sometimes. There was somebody that commented on that a while ago when I was watching their channel and stuff, and I say that it just can't really exist, our ideas and stuff, because money gets in the way. And when you try to think about free will, and when people speak perhaps the way I am about the planet, caring for it so much, and just being, like restoring nature to a level of balance, and us as a people slowing down. Please take a break. What would happen if we took a break? But we're not making these changes. The children are going to be so pissed that are generations down the line that have yet to be born. And it's not even that far away anymore. Maybe you're going to say, well, the scientists are wrong. It's really hard for me to just sit here through a weekend and not say to myself, I believe when you were fighting for a war, you thought what you were fighting for was right. And no matter if you were winning the war and on the winning side, for us in the United States of America, the Kotusoa tribe, my citizens of the United States of America, when we were killing one another, wow. And then just all the wars that have been fought since, and what happened to the natives at times. And, there's so much to reflect on, and so much to just be like, well, we got to know that we were wrong so many times. But even when we were like fighting for what we thought was right against slavery, look what happened. Look how long it took after that for even the people of color, what we would call the African Americans, that are just Americans to me. It took like 100 years or more for us to really even start to get them, the equal rights. That's so crazy. It was even worse for the natives. Maybe you say some people don't live the right way. Again, that's how can you say our way of life is the right way of life when we're destroying so many ecosystems, so much habitat, and we've threatened the future of the planet as far as our species and other species on the planet are concerned from our behavior? From so many of our leaders and so many of our people just unable to get along. We are failing the dead and failing the children in the present when we live life this way, man. It's got to stop. We have to stop thinking like it doesn't exist, climate change, the population, don't worry, we're going to be, and we're just going to pay for everything to change. We can't pay for everything to change. We're going to have to change the way we live, I believe. The way of life. Money cannot define us. I watched a thing the other day. It was like Senator Kennedy, and he's going off on this kid, right, who's a cross-country skier, right, from Alaska, I think, or at the moment. And he's there for climate change, this cross-country skier, but he doesn't have details, right? And he doesn't have a lot of numbers to support his argument, and he's very vague. So I appreciate that you went there. He didn't make a total fool of himself. He didn't comment on some subject matter. But you have to be able to present your argument and speak on some of the subject matter as to why you are there as an expert. We have a lot of experts, and I think we should listen to them. But even that day there, when I listened to that conversation, right? And the kid's just saying, I can see the changes where I live. Okay, man, you know, and he can't just describe the basic idea of CO2 in the air and stuff. Okay, it's fine. Like I say, I don't think it was terrible, but definitely we need people to with knowledge and with some numbers, I guess, at times, and be brief before you get out there, you know. But for Senator Kennedy, all I can say is he says, because a lot of this is going to take trillions of dollars to make happen. Some of these ideas that we're coming up with to try and meet the mark, right? Before net zero, our emissions need to decline. Trillions of dollars. We spent $1 trillion on military this year. $1 trillion. To me, the money doesn't work because they seem to just print more. In government, you see so many of them, and you hear the stories of them making out on the stock market and different things. I mean, what a circle of life. And for the little people to watch it all happen and watch some of the big people get busted, you know, and you find out about the corruption, but we keep going and we keep trying, you know, and we pick away and we pay our share here and there, and we struggle along and we feel like lesser of a person. Another thing for Mental Health Month. Because without the money, you don't have freedom. Money buys you time and stuff. It's such a lie. It's so fake. But it is what we are as a people right now. So we can't deny it. I don't try to cheat and lie and steal a lot of stuff neither. I didn't take anything through the pandemic. No money. And I'm so poor, basically, you know, but my job is a necessity. So even if your business was shut down, you still had to have your units tested every year. So I didn't really lose business, and I can't tell the loan companies and all this stuff that I lost a bunch of money. It seemed like so many people took so much advantage when we got done with the whole pandemic. So many people had taken so much more money than they needed. I'm fairly certain of it, and the numbers would support this argument, but it's just that mentality, man, and how many people panicked through the pandemic. People were so angry at times with other people and stuff over money. There was a disease on the planet. Look at how bad we failed as a people to just stop and have the sense of well-being enough to just, we need to be patient. We need to hold still. Not be dumb that there might be something else happening at the moment. I don't know exactly what that would be, but there was people dying, and there was a disease we weren't totally familiar with. There's different variants of it, but that one in specific, what it was doing, and we just, and when you put that much pressure on our health system, people, right, and the ability to react to that, I thought we had a terrible, but in the end, we didn't really lose anything. Now we owe a bunch more money and our inflation went up. None of it makes sense to me. Why can't we stop? If we ever wanted to. The lights stay on, the gas is on still, and we have our necessary workers that understand these fields. They keep things going. The food keeps coming because they're going to be necessary too. And you are rewarded in life in that manner for what you've done for your people. Maybe it's not money. Maybe it's just the sense that I don't have to worry now, and I don't have to worry about my future, and I'm just part of life. And what I do helps keep my people safe, whether I'm testing fire hydrants or backflows. And I'll tell you, for backflows, over 90% of water-borne pathogens and pollutants and contamination come through failed backflow assemblies. So we provide a great deal of protection in my field, and then try to understand the properties of water and the hydrological cycle of it, seeing it's the most important thing on the planet, and any planet that we'll ever look for is water. And how we've damaged some of that at times, and how many times we have polluted our waterways, and man, I could go on about that, you know, but just the ideas of being able to stop, and we're not, why is money controlling us? Why can't we fight against that and against poverty? If you're talking about mental health, you have to get past those things. there are so many people that feel like less of a person because you just don't have money or something. Your opinion doesn't count. I mean, how do you really measure up to somebody else that does? How about the uneducated and stuff? So, it's just kind of strange to me that some of the conversations come up about free will or our ability. Do we create the world around us? And I touched on that a moment ago, and I'm thinking so a little bit, because we've made the world about money. Somehow money got in there, and man, it took over everything. Money is what we live for. Sometimes you go to church and stuff, right? And they'll tell you a little different, but money's even woven into the religions too, because somehow we need that. It's like a necessity, but it's not. We know it isn't. It's not one of the elements. It's not water, air, fire, earth. It's none of those. It's something we made up that has been tearing us apart. That's terrible, dude. And we've never really found a way to get around that. We have not. We just keep fighting one another, trying to take more land. And then you're so much more scared. Well, if I don't take it, he will. And then my religion's right and yours isn't. But like I was going to say earlier, when you do go to church, I would say there's a little bit of, like, when everybody gets together, right, and they're all like singing and stuff, you do feel a little bit of energy in there. I do at times. Like when I go to a concert, I feel that, because somebody had asked a question a while ago about that, and I'm just feeling to myself like, yes, I do believe a little bit, but we can't get enough people on the other side, right, to go for the good stuff. Most of us that are going for the, you're underfunded and you're outmatched, but there are some cases people are starting to win, and I'm so happy to hear that. And they're the younger people, and we have to stand up and fight for our future. We're fighting for our future, man, our kids' future. I don't believe what we've been doing, and I don't believe in the future this will be how we entirely live, one way or another. Whether there's, mass hysteria and a lot of, some apocalyptic events start taking place, because it's only, what is it, 100 years away? Less than that now for some of it to start happening, and we see it around already. And it's just really weird that we don't fight for that. Instead, we fight for one another. We fight for production. Our companies that make things, they constantly fight against one another and spend endless amount of money on advertising and the ability, trying to just harness the mind of a person in order to make money off of it. They arrest your mind long enough to make money off of it by one sales pitch or another, or this is the best car, that's the fastest thing on the planet. And I don't want to take everything away from everyone. It's not my idea. It's just we have so much, and there's so much waste, and there's such a level of competition that there's no harmony in that. Maybe within your little group you have harmony, right? And then you move as a group, but there's not the collective mind of everything matters. The whole planet matters. And we're not all going to be like monks to one another. But man, there's got to be some conversation that starts coming forward, because I think we're there where we need to stop, take a break. Let's go back to the basics, what we need. We keep learning and going, but and quit having to travel so far, so often, for so much, this level of competing against one another and traveling all over the place. And it's not like I want to suspend total travel, but we waste so much in the way we live. And our collective mind on this planet is basically money and power, And the plastics and so many things that we've introduced to our ecosystems and stuff that's having negative effects, and the refacing the planet in areas, and it just devastates the ecosystem there when you totally rip the habitat away. It's just amazing that we're not there. So when I hear the senators say it's going to cost trillions and trillions, I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't matter how much. How can we put the future, and then is it because you're going to die and you just don't care? And the kids, well, hey, grow up, learn to deal with it. simplify, I don't know, adapt, overcome. Use words that would be used in a better way, and then break those sentences down, whatever you have to, right? To just put it off on the next generation, because that's just, I just think we're failing bad, and that fails the dead, those that have died. How many people that fought in the wars were fighting against other people that probably on a different day, had they been able to speak the same language, or maybe they even did at times, maybe you would have been such good friends. Some of our best people die in those battles, man, our bravest people and stuff, and then we got to start over and keep going, and then you got to recover from all of that, and the whole mindset is just bewildering to me. Anyway, it's a Memorial Day weekend, and I hope to get some comments back. If we can get something going in the right direction, perhaps start getting a conversation started somewhere where we're looking for something different to do for our future. Because what we're doing is killing us. The way we live against one another in competition, and your whole life you do like one thing, man. And it puts you in a box, because what else would you do, right? And you could never lose that job, so it's going to make you make decisions as well in life, right? That's going to compromise your inner being. It's going to compromise your thought process at times. So the ideas of free will and stuff is not, because you're going to make these decisions in order to keep something that you think that you need, because without it, what are you going to do? It wouldn't be enough that you're just a good person. It wouldn't be good enough that you've tried in life, and the skills that you did learn, you shared them at times, and you applied them to your people around you. Just like what would we do? Like, people get so scared, and they're like, that's communism, that's Marxism or something, and I don't understand all those words, and they don't scare me at all. Socialism, and big deal. Say what you want, dude. The reality is, see what's happening on the planet with the numbers and stuff, and then understand we have to make some changes. Now. Now's the time, dude. And on a weekend when we're celebrating our dead, man, which I think is such a good holidays to remember our people that have died killing one another. The most heinous act. I want you to go over there and just kill. And I will. I've got my war face on, and when you go, man, you better go, dude. And don't think twice, but you know what I'm saying? When it's said and done, you're going to have to live with that too. That PTSD and all that stuff's going to bring back some baggage, dude. That's real stuff that needs to be sorted out. And it happens to us here in the world we built around us too. For a lot of people, it might be like that. Sometimes in your life, what if you've been robbed a lot? What if you've been beat up a lot? What if you've been, other things that have happened to you? And what if you don't feel like you fit in? Because you can never really seem to get ahead. But, you know what I'm saying? So all these other things start coming into play, and they mess with us. Whereas if the way of life is, well, you're pretty much a good person. You've not really caused a whole lot of trouble. And, what do you need? You need food, water, a place to live. It would be just what we do. And you obtain skills, you've learned, you try to use some of your abilities for your people and for the future, because it's the right thing to do. Everything we do should not have dollars attached to it. I don't like it. I don't like the clicker training. I don't like the little treat training. Not at all. You are raised to do what's right because it's the right thing to do. And our people need you. We need one another. Nothing else. And we need the planet. We need the planet, and everything on it belongs here, man. We got to stop putting ourselves above it so much, because we keep taking more and more and more. I know this is a long-winded one, but happy Memorial Day weekend. If I could get something coming back, it'd be awesome. I'm going to throw some tunes out there. I got so much music that would align with one form or another of just trying to make changes, and you can find some respect for the military in there, and for our people that have died in battle fighting. And like I say, man, even the enemy, because I don't believe so many people that fought against so many people, everyone was really that angry with one another. You might have been made to think in your head that you hated the other side, but you never even got to know that person. You never even got to know them. Never even got a chance to talk to them, to hang out, to see what other life might have been like. But at that moment, dude, you better live or die. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's a mindset there too, man, to see it for what it is, dude. And it's unfortunate what happens, but party it up, man. Have some good barbecue or whatever it is, and take just a moment to think for the future, and let's start some wars against the things that have been hurting us the most, you know? It's not like I want to break down the whole freaking money system. You don't just do it overnight. But we have to do something. We have to start seeing life for what it is. I don't believe what we have done is going to last forever, and we have to see the numbers that are going against us so heavily. Peace.